We are back with an update to the wide receiver tier list. Even though your wide receiver core and many wide receiver cores out there are going to have T. Higgins on one side, Devontae on the other, and then maybe one team wide receiver snuck in there. That's what most of these teams are, running. I read your teams this week clearly showed that. At most the variety you're going to see is maybe like Devontae Adams and two team wide receivers. It depends how good their team is, who they're running. But there's a lot of variety and a lot of really good wide receivers in this game that we're going to talk about in today's video. The first card I want to talk about is, of course, T. Higgins and how I view a card like this. So T. Higgins, 32 team chems. I view a card like this automatically like he has +1 speed. So I view him like he has 87 speed because at worst, you should have T. Higgins at 87 speed. At best, 89 speed, and that makes him obviously insane. But even at 87, this card is still an S tier option. He's an amazing card. Okay, so before we get into it, we are on that road to 50,000 subscribers. We are so close. Thank you guys for all the support on the channel recently. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and leave a like and let's get into it. Of course, before we do, if you are looking to add a top end wide receiver to your team, head over to MMOEXP. They have the cheapest, most reliable MUT coins on the market. Use my code FERDY at checkout for 6% off. A link for their website is in the description. The first card we have today is Davante Adams. Like I said, it's T. Higgins, it's Davante, it's one more wide receiver, and I can't blame you. That's the way EA wants you to do it, and they make these cards really good. So it's kind of like when the cards aren't good, it's like, but when the cards are good, it's all you ever see. So it's kind of like I don't know. Again, my fix, I've said it before, I think they should do team builders once a season and give every team a season 2 or season 1 or whatever card, and that would lead to a lot more variety in my opinion. Make them fully upgradable the same way you do these, but make them team builders. I think that would be a lot better and lead to more variety. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about Davante Adams. I go on that tangent like once a video, but it's okay. Davante's obviously great, and I look at this card like he has 90 speed, which is insane. The route running's good. After the catch is great. But you can potentially have a 92 speed Davante Adams, and he is the only wide receiver in the game that will be able to get slot-o-matic when fully upgraded, which should be Thursday. Or if it's not this week, it's next week. So Davante Adams, this is a clear and obvious S tier for Davante. Pretty easy. And I should mention, so if you are in a position right now where you have two good team wide receivers and you have Davante and you have T. Higgins, who should you kind of keep in the rotation? I think it comes down to preference, honestly. Like if you don't have a big body receiver for your team, then I would keep T. Higgins and maybe don't play Davante, which feels wrong, honestly. It does. But if you need that, maybe you can sub T. Higgins in for those some scenarios or whatever. But I think in most scenarios, keeping Davante, and for most teams, keeping Davante does make the most sense, as I do think he's pretty versatile. But T. Higgins, 6'4", if you don't have that receiver, there's definitely consideration to keep T. Higgins. And next up, we have the brand new Odell Beckham Jr. Again, I gotta credit EA for this promo. They did a great job, and they're dropping heat right now. EA's on a burner. Cam Newton on Monday. Damn, even the champions were great. Unreal Moments is one of the best promos we've seen in the last, I don't even know how long. It has a premise. They are putting great cards in here. They're making the card arts nice. This is perfect. Right before Most Feared as well. Like, this is, wow. EA Sports, good job. Keep it up. Less crystals though. Less store offers. I mean, of course, they're whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Good job with the promos, despite there being maybe some issues. But Odell Beckham Jr., a great card, 89 speed. And when it comes to ranking these Unreal Moments cards, there is a strat card that gives them +1 to everything. But I'm not ranking them like they have that, because that will go away. So wherever I rank Odell Beckham Jr., which is going to be, I'm going to put him right here. Imagine him like 1 or 2 spots ahead because of that strat card. And imagine that for all of the Unreal Moments cards that are going to make today's tier list. So think about it like that. But the strat card does go away at some point, and that'll of course mess up the tier, the tier list going forward. But just imagine him 1 or 2 spots ahead because there is that +1 speed. And like an Odell Beckham Jr., man, with potentially +4 speed is a 93 speed Odell with these stats. My goodness. The spec catch, of course, great. After the catch, of course, great. So Odell, of course, going to be an S tier. Of course. All right, let's speed it up here a little bit. We got Puka Nacua, team of the week, 88 speed, 88 acceleration, good route runner, 6'1", good juke move. His previous card did play very well, so I am basing this rating a bunch off that. But a very good card. I mean, the Rams team, I saw a Rams team and I rate your teams on Sunday. And by the way, thank you guys so much for the support on I rate your teams this weekend. It was honestly very surprising and crazy. So shout out to you guys. But yeah, we're gonna put Puka Nacua. Puka, I think he's a high A tier option. I think he is very good card. And by the way, I think like the wide receiver tier list is there's so many options here. Like you could debate really any of these high A tier guys into S tier. On theme teams, these guys rise up to high, like insane cards, obviously. So like a tier list like the receivers, you usually see a lot more quality in S and A tier and a lot less of a difference compared to like a quarterback tier list or something like that. That's just how it kind of goes. Next up, we got Collector Series Xavier Worthy. Even last week, Collector Series drop was good. It was, yeah, they've been on a heater, but Worthy, 89 speed, 93 acceleration is crazy, by the way, with 90 short route running, 5'11", and great after the catch. This card is really good. This card's really good. Honestly, I think he might be getting overlooked a pretty good amount because we have so many like big name, crazy wideouts in this game. But like Xavier Worthy's card is really good. If you can get him on a Chiefs team, which is an okay theme team right now, but on a Chiefs team, bro, like, I mean, this card goes nuclear, man. He goes nuclear. And by the way, Odell Beckham also does get Acrobat as well, which I'm not too sure how good that is. So if you are trying out Odell Beckham Jr., let me know if Acrobat's worth running on him, because I'm curious about that, because only him and I think like Warren and like Njoku get it. So keep that in mind. I'm just curious to see what that ability's like on Odell. And next up, we got Stephon Diggs. Card art, beautiful. And again, this card with the +1s does go into S tier. But for me, Stephon Diggs he's an A tier option. I think he's A tier. Deep Elite is obviously very good. This is a good card. With the strat card, he goes in the S tier, I think. But I'm gonna put him A tier for now. He's very good though. Like, it just feels wrong to put a card this good into A tier. Like, it really should be like S+, S, and then we should go down from there, honestly. But we're gonna keep it like this. But just know, like, Stephon Diggs is so good, and I just feel wrong. I know there's gonna be comments about Diggs being too low, but you're gonna see it's gonna make sense at the end. Who else do we not have here? I think we finished. Did we do it? Yeah, A tier is done. All right, we're fully into S tier now, boys. All right. So first up, we got Noah Brown, who it just feels criminal to have Noah Brown above Stephon Diggs. But oh my goodness, do y'all hear that? I don't know if that mic picked that up, but someone was ripping outside real quick. Noah Brown, though, 88 speed, 87 acceleration, 6'2". So you have that height. You have the height advantage. The route running is crazy. I will say there actually is a real argument for Diggs over Noah. I think there's a real argument. There is. I would say there is. I honestly, I would listen to it. And unfortunately, it is a tier difference. It is. That's the unfortunate part. But I think there's a real debate. Honestly, if it were me, I would do it. I would swap him. I'm gonna swap him because I feel like Diggs is, it just feels wrong to do that. But I mean, maybe that's me being like, maybe that's bias, right? Is that, I know people usually, maybe that's just bias. I don't know. Maybe that could be bias. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Next up, we got a card that, like, again, just feels criminal to be this high up. But DK Metcalf, unstoppable, man. He's an S tier option. Again, 87 speed. This is an example of a card that would get jumped by the Unreal +1s for sure. But I mean, a 6'4" wide receiver with that route running. And then he does also, he's 6'4", so the body's there. I mean, this is a very good card, very good option. It just feels wrong to put him where I put him, but I think he's like around T. Higgins range, right? Actually, I don't know. Does this card? Yeah, okay. So people are running. So he does get quick spin. Okay. I saw someone talking about a quick spin rating, and also his impact block's really good as well. But is there any truth to the spin move rating affecting the quick spin? Like, and if so, what is it? I thought it was like 75 or something, or like 70 or something, which DK does have. So maybe he just hits that threshold. But DK Metcalf with the quick spin with good speed. I mean, Steelers or Seahawks teams, you gotta love it. But this is a prime example of a card again getting jumped, right? Like, he would get jumped by like Stephon Diggs. You could even argue that if you love this. It just feels wrong with some of these cards at wide receiver sometimes. All right, next up, let's go Nico Collins here. Nico Collins, 6'4". Of course, he's a crystal. So all 32, we view this card like he has 88 speed at worst. But most likely, if you have Nico Collins, you're someone that also has Saquon Barkley, or someone that also has Micah Parsons and Surtain and Gibbs and Fred Warner. That's most likely the kind of person you are. So, yeah. This card with potentially 90 speed is insane. Of course, quick spin. Of course, route running. Of course, break tackle. It's all there. So even 90 carrying is pretty nice to have. But so Nico Collins, I think Nico's honestly a card you could argue. What's his price right now? He's 800K. He's a real card that you could that I would argue is like worth, you know, I think he's worth getting if you're not gonna get Gibbs or Fred Warner. Like, he's that good of a card in my opinion, where I feel comfortable putting him like that. I would do that. I would argue, like, there's a real argument for this too. It just feels wrong to do, but there really is. I mean, honestly, the 2-speed difference for the 5 inches of height with the quick spin. I'm gonna leave it like this for now, but there is the real debate. I might be overrating Odell, or maybe I'm underrating Odell. I don't know. It's weird when you have like such a difference in. Usually, of course, tall receivers, their big bonus is they can ag people, which of course they can do in this game, right? But they also have that aspect, that after the catch aspect as well. All right, next up we got Drake London, 1.5 mil, 88 speed, 90 acceleration. And again, I view a card like Nico like he has +1 speed, which would be 88 speed. So these cards, they effectively have the same speed, and I would prefer to take Drake London. Drake London is the better card. Drake London's card is insane. This is a great card. Really, yeah, Drake London is in front of Nico Collins in my opinion, but he is behind Davante Adams. Like, that fully upgraded Davante is just stupid. And because of that all 32, right? That's the big advantage that he gets. All right, next up. A card that I feel like doesn't get enough respect, like kind of gets overlooked because he's only $1 million now. I mean, this is still a very good card. We have the all 32 team chem Amari Cooper. Yeah, 89 speed. Route running's great. He also does get that route technician as well, which I don't see many people really running it, but it is an option. If you go to his popular abilities, like, oh, never mind. I guess 67% of people are running, route tech Amari Cooper. But very good route running. After the catch is solid. COD's there. Amari Cooper, kind of a card you don't see a lot on teams, but as his price is down 21% right now. So maybe a card you want to hop all over and get after it. You know, Amari Cooper, great card. Great card. I don't really see him talked about as like a top. Wait, oh, my mouse messed up. Okay, there we go. I put him right behind Davante Adams, in front of Drake London. Amari Cooper, stud. All right, next up. Another 32 team chem wide receiver, but again, it makes sense because you get the boost, right? So CeeDee Lamb, 6'2", 88 speed. I think he's just a better version of CeeDee Lamb. It's effectively what he is, but doesn't have the route tech. That's the one downside of this card, where you can maybe debate, you could debate Davante over him. You could debate Amari Cooper over him because of that for that reason. But I'm going to put them all next to each other because I really do feel like CD, Amari Cooper, and Davante are all like back to back to back. I think it's really like that. They're three kind of similar-ish receivers as far as build goes and stats go. But it really is just that ability gap where you could argue all three of these guys in different spots here. But again, like, you see how dense the wide receivers are. You could legitimately, you could still be using, you could have Justin Jefferson and he's great. DeAndre Hopkins is great. JSN on a full 50-50 with crystals is still great. Even just on a 50-50 still great. T.O. is still great. This version of Worthy, great. It's so dense at wide receiver. If you're still running Luther or a Mecca, that's still okay, It's just how crazy how deep this position is, and you still see Davante, T. Higgins, and like one other wideout sprinkled in. But that's the way you got to do it, man. Unfortunately. All right, my top two are they're actually not all 32 team chem guys, which may be a mistake, but of course it's gonna be Calvin Johnson. And one thing just to look out for, Calvin Johnson is gonna be getting a +1 at some point with that LTD stuff. So maybe you want to load up on those collector series. Some of them are pretty cheap right now if you want to get them. And then of course you can sell them at the end and you get a +1 overall and maybe like a free Cam, I guess it's not free, but like you do get a Cam Newton out of it. So I don't know, just throwing that out there. I'm considering it myself, but yeah, Calvin Johnson, man. I mean, what more can I say? Quick spin, 6'5". Good luck. Good luck. All right, Calvin Johnson, stud. I think Calvin goes to S tier, top of S tier. And finally, you see him. It's Plexico Burress. Of course, Burress I think he's better than Calvin, which it just like that just feels so wrong to say that. I would give me Plexico over Calvin Burress or Calvin Burress. Give me Plexico over Calvin Johnson feels wrong, but I mean the stats don't lie. They don't lie, and they're pretty similar. Like, obviously we're splitting hairs when it comes to this, right? We're really splitting hairs, but I mean look at this card, man. They made Plexico Burst like legit insane. Like I don't know what they were doing, but they made this card just stupid good, which as a Jets theme team user, I'm not upset by it, but I don't like to see this, you know? They made him almost too good. I wish he was a little bit worse so I would just buy him, you know? But Plexico, I think even outside of a theme team worth going after. Stop right there. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, where is Malik Neighbors, man? And I realized that. Thankfully, I realized that the Malik Neighbors was not on the tier list. I'm not going to go into why I almost forgot him, but it has something to do with how I grabbed the screenshots and how I wasn't putting him on the tier list early on because you couldn't get him yet. But I figured it out, and this does change a lot for the tier list. It does. So, of course, this Malik Neighbors is pretty much, you can't really get him. You know, he's 10 million coins. If you didn't finish top 100, then unlucky for you. But this Malik Neighbors, the 89, you're going to see a lot of. And again, he's going to fall right into those cards I mentioned. CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper. I think he's actually better than those three guys, but it does change some things for the tier list. A lot of guys get moved down. I don't like stacking up the tier list, you know, where the tiers drop down. I like keeping it uniform. It keeps me very organized, right? It's how I've always done it, so I'm going to keep doing it that way. But it does drop some guys down, and then you have a 32 team chem neighbors here, another 32 team chem neighbors here, a non-32 team chem there. But looking very good. Here's the tier list, final tier list. And I'm glad I remembered to put Malik on there. I'm so glad I remembered. That would have been terrible. Okay, have a good rest of your day. Hit the subscribe button again on that road to 50,000. But the main takeaway from today's video is you can run whatever theme team you want in this game because look at this. 32 team chems, 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 32 team chems. You can run whoever you want in this game. That's the moral of today's video. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you boys in the next one. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a good one.